Start the clock.
Evening, kids. Dr. Freedom here with you. Time for the Doctor Who news. News from around the universe that could, might, or somewhat how affect you out of the way. Word is on Doctor Who filming that they were back inside today. So there were no locations or set pics I could find. So, hey, but that can be a good thing, too. Also, there's a couple people weirding out because Capaldi hasn't been seeing any of the location pics yet. Could be just those particular scenes don't involve him. So that's why he wasn't there. Okay, don't panic. Because I know there's a couple of people who panicked. I know who you are. I see you. All right. Also, more good news. They're going to be doing the cover for the new Companion Chronicles popped up today. There we go. I had to blow it up a wee bit. But there it is. Pretty interesting stuff. We're going to go into that into an article a little bit later, as they've already released a basic, article on what the first story of this new set's going to be. All right, so we'll go more into that in just a minute. Okay, Omega Files this weekend will be Sinbad in the Eye of the Tiger. Oh, yes, beautiful movie. Another Ray Harryhausen spectacular. I hope you all sit down and hop in with us to enjoy these, because we really like watching different things. And Doctor Who, there's not much going on in Doctor Who right now. And, I wanted to get a little away from it for a little while every now and then, which is why, when Arrow's season comes to an end, we might do a whole podcast on that. Maybe even do one when The Walking Dead season comes to an end. Following weekend, we'll sit down, maybe do a year in review discussion on that. So keep your eyes peeled for that kind of stuff, because I like to watch more than just Doctor Who, and I've been focusing too much on it. I want to get away from it, look at some other things that are going on that I really, really like to watch, and that, I can give you, maybe throw an opinion or two out on. So that's what we're doing. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's get into it. Let's get onto it. Let's do the thing. All right, here we go. Hang on. Oops. Would have been helped if I was set up in the first place, wouldn't it? Okay, here we go. Let's get started. Okay, first up over on Doctor Who News. The return of Reeltime Pictures. That's right, Reeltime's Pictures' cult range of Doctor Who interviews are being relaunched through a brand new website, Time Travel TV. Reeltime Pictures will be a name familiar to fans who were active in the 80s. Formed in 1984 by former Celestial Toy Room editor and then BBC and Channel 4 employee Keith Barnfather, their remit was to produce high-quality content for Doctor Who and cult TV fans alike. Their direct-to-video output consisted of original drama, documentaries, and mythmakers, a series of in-depth interviews with the whole host of classic Doctor Who stars, hosted by Nick Briggs. Now, in the days before YouTube and the Internet, this was the only way for many fans to view interviews with the stars and the producers of their favorite show. Now, the new site will feature 50 titles for fans to download, stream, or purchase on DVD, including in the initial releases is a brand new Mythmakers, a tribute to Anthony Ainley, with 11 further titles, old and new, being added every month until the entire back catalog is released. And then there's some quotes here from them and all that. It says right here, basically, for full details, go to their website right here. There's also a little bit more here if you want to read some quotes. But that's basically it. This is really good news to hear that they're bringing this stuff back out, okay? Whew, so keep an eye out for this, man. Okay, jumping on over to Casturberus. Forthcoming Doctor Who merchandise news blast. Some of this stuff we've already gone over. We talked about the Funko Pop vinyls. But check this out, the Bachman Virgin Doctor Who Voyager train. What? Okay. And here's some fridge wraps and more. But here you go. Now, this is a example of a Doctor Who vinyl thing, or what you call it, wall art that was put onto a refrigerator. I kind of like that. I may have to look into it. The official Doctor Who card game, Neil Gaiman anthology featuring a Who short. Basically, with his contributions to the show been hit or miss, there's no question Neil Gaiman is a gifted writer. The happy news that Gaiman's about to drop Trigger Warning, a collection of short stories that take place in the Whoniverse and the American Gods universe. Digital Spy reckon it's the ebook Nothing O'Clock that will represent Doctor Who in the anthology. So as long as the kids from Nightmare and Silver are absent in the story, I'm completely looking forward to it, and I agree with them on that. Doctor Who Comic Squares mugs. So nifty stuff there, especially if you're a fan, of the comic series and all that especially going back to the original ones. That looks pretty interesting, like interesting stuff. Go check that out. Well, especially if you like to drink coffee. Okay, jumping over to Warp Factor, Doctor Who 8 historical times and places the Doctor should visit. And this is a very interesting one because they bring up some interesting locations where they haven't really gone before, such as the American Revolutionary War, the English Civil War, the Roman England. Now, in a way, they've kind of sort of done that. But okay, the reign of Alfred the Great, 1920s Hollywood, the court of Nebuchadnezzar, Timbuktu at its height, the German trenches during World War I. Now, in a way, I got to recommend Big Finish Audio. Go to watch No Man's Land. That's a pretty interesting one that takes place in the World War I era, okay? So there's some interesting stuff here if you want to take a look at this. Some pretty nifty ideas and suggestions from Warp Factor. Okay, and of course, this is stuff we've already gone over, but I want to run over it with you one more time because guess what? Now, Cold Box finally got around to reporting it. Doctor Who Season 9 filming returns to a familiar location. And, of course, they're talking about this picture here, which I showed you the other day, with Jenna Coleman looking out the window at the Coal Hill School location. And, of course, once again, here is the bike making its return. And also, you know, the fact that Gareth Roberts says right here, the caretaker writer Gareth Roberts told Cold Box last year he is keen for original companion Ian Chesterton to return to the show. It says right here, you know, it goes into Ian Chesterton's, you know, how if you don't know who he is, he was one of the original, you know, companions of the first Doctor. Originally, the very first episode, the Doctor was with his granddaughters, and he picks up the two school teachers, which was Barbara Wright and Ian Chesterton, played by, of course, William Russell and Jacqueline Hill. Unfortunately, Jacqueline Hill has already passed a long time ago, actually now. But William Russell's still around. He's in his 90s. But you did see him in An Adventure in Space and Time as the BBC parking lot attendant. That was him. And Gareth Roberts said he'd love to see William Russell back on the show. That's so rich and fertile for someone to do. You'd have to explain it enough, though, so that everyone can get it. That's why flashback montages were created. Now, some folks are jumping the gun and saying, well, does this mean Ian Chesterton's going to return? No. And I highly doubt it. Just because Coal Hill School's making an appearance doesn't mean Ian Chesterton's coming back. And the reason being is the only one time that would have been really proper to do it was an Era of the Zygons, which some of you refer to as Day of the Doctor. What I call the 8th anniversary special, because instead of having Ian Chesterton come out and tell Clara that the Doctor was expecting her, no, they had some one-off guy you never saw again come walking out and make the announcement. To me, that would have been the perfect slot to put him. Sure, it wouldn't have been a big spot, but still, come on. One of the original companions appearing in the 50th anniversary special, the alleged one, would have made it a 50th anniversary special to me. Okay, that's just my opinion. I'm not going to slag you off if you liked it, but to this day, there's only 3 minutes of that little sucker I watched, and that's at the end. And that's about it. Okay, then we jump on over to Blogger Who. Blogger Who. Katy Manning is going to be appearing in Casualty. Matter of fact, this weekend on BBC One, fans can catch former Doctor Who star Katy Manning on the long-running show Casualty. Manning played, of course, companion Jo Grant in the John Pertwee era and returned to the world of Doctor Who in the Russell T Davies penned episode of Sarah Jane Adventures, Death of the Doctor with Matt Smith. If you have not seen that, I highly recommend it. Okay? Because Matt Smith was spectacular in that episode. He did a fantastic acting job there. Okay, Manning stars as Marjorie Miller, one with a psychic dog, in Casualty, and they'll air at 9:15 p.m. on BBC One on the 21st of February, 3 days from now. One of the nifty things I saw mentioned is she's supposed to be like an eccentric nudist with a psychic dog. Nudist? I wonder where they got that idea from. And, of course, as I brought up in the beginning, over on Big Finish News, Doctor Who, The First Companion Chronicles. And here's a photo. This is, of course, Maureen O'Brien, who plays Vicky, along with her co-star. Hang on, their name's right here, and I'm sorry I forgot it. Okay. Ian Potter's Unwinding World will be the first story to be named in June's upcoming Doctor Who, The First Companion Chronicles box set. And pictured here is Maureen O'Brien. Yeah, she played Vicky back in 65. And she's also reprised that role in the other Companion Chronicles that came before this and the early adventures. And she's shown here with Alex Dunmore, who's her co-star in The Unwinding World. And, of course, we've already shown you the cover image for that, so that's it. We're done. Well, folks, it's been a weird week here. not much to say. Um, Other than the fact, please tune in to the Omega Files this weekend. I know we're not talking about Doctor Who, but I hope you get together with us, sit down and enjoy like an hour of your time. Heck, we've only been running about a half hour to an hour because I really don't want to get off the really long podcast. And I know some folks are tuning out because we're no longer audio, but there was a lot of folks who had, look, I want to see video. Show me you want to support the video. Come watch it. So that's one of the reasons I went to Zoom, because a lot of people are going, why don't you do video podcasts like everybody else? And I finally found a venue that was worth it. Also, if you're watching this video somewhere out there, maybe on Facebook, or maybe you clicked on the link on Twitter, and if it didn't take you to the YouTube page, come on over here to the YouTube page. Please like and subscribe this video, okay? It kind of shows me that there's still people out there watching and enjoying this program. And, oh man, as a side note, like I said, it's been a kind of a depressing day for me. And I'm thinking, I don't like drama, but it's just, I don't know. Maybe I'll do an editorial about this later because I don't want to throw it in a news podcast. So I'll discuss it at a later time. Okay, so until next time, guys, take care. Watch out for yourselves and see you on the flip side.